I just looked at the comments.
Oh no! Hi everyone.
Oh,
This
hello.
is the live show. Look at
Did we name it yet? Did we
What?
choose a name yet?
Did we?
Yeah. It's the Unready Room.
Right,
Okay,
the
great.
Unready Room. We are the Unready Room.
Who
we
said
couldn't
that?
remember the title, so
Someone on
fits.
Twitter said that, and I don't remember who that was, and I feel bad because I want to give that person credit. Or was it here in the chat?
I think it was here in the chat.
It was in the chat.
Lawrence
It was last
Todd,
week.
I think.
I can't remember who said it.
Lawrence,
you're
you're in the chat, so you can confirm.
Bruce, don't.
I remember
go
he said
fishing
some
for-
funny stuff. So
Bruce went fishing for compliments for me in the freaking chat. Thank
That's
you.
what I was
but
laughing at. I'm
Stop.
sorry.
I have to apologize. I typically don't drink soda or pop or Coke, whatever you want to call it, during recordings and live shows, but I was craving one, and so at times I have to.
Great minds.
Good. We can all burp together.
The gassy Unready Room. Great.
Yep.
So I'm just going to randomly pick a comment in the chat. Oh, Christopher Hill, Brandi, you're as lovely as ever. Oh, that's so great. I'm glad
That's
I picked that
sweet.
one randomly.
And also, Lawrence Todd did confirm it was him that called it the Unready Room.
I thought so. Yeah, he said some funny stuff. I'm fishing for compliments as well. Good job, Lawrence Todd.
Yes, very good. It was excellent and makes us giggle.
I like to giggle. So we're going to giggle about episode 8 of Star Trek Picard. And this was called Broken Pieces. Broken Pieces.
Indeed. Broken Pieces. Very apt title. Everyone. So yeah, all the broken pieces of the plot coming together, getting answered. And then of course the characters themselves are all broken pieces of something. Yeah.
It's some literally.
Yeah, definitely. Before we get into it,
yes,
sorry,
I was going to point that out, Dan.
Becky 2010able. When is Positively Trek coming? The first 3 episodes are out. Go to wherever you get podcasts, search for it. You should find it. And if you don't, tell me immediately, and I will fix that.
And I can tell you from experience, all 3 episodes are fantastic.
Oh well.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you
No,
for
thank
filling
you.
my ears with joy.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you. You give so much.
Yes.
Oh, these two.
Yeah, they dropped on Tuesday, and that wasn't planned.
Yeah.
It just suddenly was there.
Yeah, well, the Apple Podcasts thing, apparently it said it can take up to 2 weeks. I thought it was a minimum of 2 weeks, and it was like 3 days later they just appeared. So
and all of a sudden I get like a message from Dan. They're out there.
They should have sent you an email saying it had been approved.
Yeah, that's what it was I got that email, and I was like,
you got the email, but they were already out there because it was approved, right? So.
Exactly. Once you get the email, it's already live.
No.
So more faves,
and there's no way to predict exactly when that'll be. So
right. More Fave says the broken pieces were the pieces of Rios's personality reflected in each of his holograms.
Yep, that was definitely one of them.
That was the literal interpretation of broken pieces, but there were other pieces that were
we see broken
metaphorically
pieces
broken.
in the opening during the theme song.
Yes, we do.
It starts off with a broken piece and then pieces. And then E.T. ate Reese's Pieces. That was in another movie. But there's pieces everywhere. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's Friday night. I've had a stressful week.
I thought you were going to say you had a stroke.
I just want to hug you, Bruce. I wish I could, because I've had a stressful week too, and I just want to hug
I'm
you.
doing those ASMR things like
I feel like the world has had a stressful week. I definitely have too.
We've had a lot of broken pieces this week.
Yeah.
So this episode starts off with Commander O. We've got the Commodore. I'm sorry, Commodore. Well, at one point she was a commander, just like Picard called Commander Riker when he's Captain Riker.
There you go. Yeah, military people love it when you misrank them for sure.
Commodore O. The Jacques Vache. What do you think about all that? That was crazy, wasn't it?
That was interesting. I think the biggest surprise from that was the relationship that Ramda had to the whole group and kind of tying that all together. I was not expecting that at all.
My wife was watching going, wait, that's that lady, the Borg lady, the crazy one or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was interesting.
Well, did anyone notice that in the vision, the face of the synthetic life form morphed into Data's face for a split second?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. How can that be?
I was wondering that, and I was wondering if it was a literal thing or if it was like the people who are taking part in this are aware of Data, so their own thoughts are influencing what they're seeing and what they're interpreting from what they're seeing. That's kind of where I was going in my head, or if that was literally Stored in this thing, because if that's the case, I can't reconcile that. I don't understand that.
I don't know exactly how this admonition works, but yes, I know it's a warning, but at the same time, we've only got half of the story here.
Mm-hmm.
What was going on the other side of that story? And maybe the synthetic life forms were created to be slaves, and then they became self-aware and evolved, and the owners, the creators didn't like that so much.
Right.
I'm just saying, we only know bits and pieces of one half of the story.
Mm-hmm.
I just realized it was the 12 colonies of Kobol that left this message.
You're right!
I just realized that.
And well, see, and the whole thing is that all that stuff is actually based on Mormon myth. I'm sorry, I'm Mormon religion. So they just changed some letters around instead. It's actually Kolob, not Kobol. But the whole quorum of the 12, oh yeah, that exists. And getting married for all eternity, yeah, that's really Mormon. So there's so many aspects of the Mormon religion that were put into that original show that is just like, okay.
So I mean, when you're Star Trek Mormon Picard.
Yeah.
One thing I'm going to point out, there's also some imagery, and people in the comments have brought this up too. There's imagery of a decaying fox showing like the passage of time in this vision. Apparently that fox has been used in like tons of different creepy horror type things. Somebody mentioned it was used in the True Blood opening, and apparently it's been used all over the place. So that's kind of weird. That's interesting. I don't know what to say about that other than weird. I don't understand that.
I didn't even know. I feel
like I need to research that more.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've also seen people in the comment, like more Fave, say, because you were saying about Data, that it could be lore or a Data like android. That's from Wayne Fraser. And then Patrick said Arium to Data. And that was, I thought too. I thought that image was Arium from Discovery that then switched over to Data. Or was that just another synth? That
didn't look like Arium to me, especially in the eyes. Did not look like her at all to me. It looked like someone that might be somewhat like Arium, but those were not Arium's eyes.
I think superficially there's some similarities, but if you do look up a picture of Arium and kind of put it next to it, it's very different. Yeah, but different eyes, different skin color.
She's not synthetic life. She's a human cyborg. So, yeah. But anyway, I'm just wondering how much was actual fact that happened and how much was interpreting things through the lens of what these people already knew and how much it could have skewed said warning. Anyway.
That's kind of what I wonder. And going back to that image of Data, that's kind of how I'm interpreting it. Like they're bringing their own thoughts to this as well. So is that influencing it? And was that shot of Data an indication of that maybe?
Yeah, we'll find out, I think.
I think so too.
Yeah, I haven't thought that much about it actually. And now I am starting to wonder. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It really is making me okay. Yeah. Wow. My head's going all kinds of directions right now because it makes me even wonder if Data I forget. I don't even want to theorize. Okay, let's move on. So what'd you think of them all freaking out and like tearing their faces and shooting themselves in the head. It was like, it reminded me, it not as gruesome as when we saw the episode with Icheb. But it's like, wow, we're starting another episode, really dramatic, like blood and tearing. I mean, my wife's going, ew, you know?
Yeah. No, I think it was appropriately off-putting because of what it's trying to convey. What surprised me was the pullback shot revealing that Narissa was the only one who wasn't, you know, and Ramda stopped herself. She only pulled out some of her hair. She didn't go as far as the other people, but like she was still kind of prone on the ground. Narissa was the only one who had held it together, kind of thing. And I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
What kind of person is she?
Yeah, because she was the only one that could actually stand against. She had the strength, which actually gives more strength to her character for me, because I know that she passed that test.
Well, and not only that, but a little bit later with the scene with her seemingly comatose auntie Ramda, she's got facets. She's not just a one-note character anymore.
Yeah.
Yes, I want to see her die, but she's not just your typical mustache twirling villain at this point. They gave her some facets. So I was impressed by that.
And like we said last week, Peyton List playing her is just perfection. Like, almost to the same degree that Louise Fletcher playing Kai Wynn made me hate that character so much. She's just nailing this character.
There's this moment at the end of that scene with Rhonda where she's brushing away her hair and sees one of the Borg implants, and the series of micro expressions that go across her face are absolutely genius. Genius.
To the point that, like, I was like, is she going to rip it out with her bare hands? Is she going to recoil? Like, what? You know, I thought she was going to like do something in that moment. There was so much going on. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow.
What was she saying in that scene? I mean, because I was going to go back, and I usually do the closed captioning, but when my wife and I were watching it, there was something she said, and it like went by because it was real quiet and we didn't quite hear it. I didn't rewind it, but what was she saying to Ramda in that scene?
Well, she was talking about she was teasing that she thought she was faking it, that she was just laying there to lay there. She talked about how she was never completely sane to begin with because she took Narissa and Narek in after their parents died and raised them, and then the admonition and such. And she's like, if you wake up right now, you can come with me. We all have our work to do.
Oh, maybe that's what I missed. Was that
yeah. And then, of course, the fact that it's revealed why the Borg cube was disabled and had a submatrix collapse and got disconnected from the collective. Her despair was so great that she broke a Borg cube with her mind. Like, that was interesting.
That is crazy.
It explains why the Romulans have the Borg cube as well.
Did she really break it with her mind, or is she just saying that?
No, I think that was the whole thing. It was because of these Romulans that the Matrix failed, and they hadn't figured out why. Narissa knew, but she wasn't telling because Tal Shiar secrets and all that stuff. But yeah,
it could even be like on a just, you know, technical level, it could be the fact that the Borg realized they had these memories that were 200,000 years old and like couldn't reconcile that or something, and it just threw the system into disarray. Like, it could be any number of things why these particular people or this particular Romulan did that to the Borg cube. I think you can kind of come up with a more scientific explanation if you want to, as to why the Borg couldn't handle that or something.
Yeah. So we can jump all over the place. So we don't have to go in chronological order of the episode, but I did want to mention about Commodore O. It is revealed in this episode she is half Romulan, half Vulcan.
Yep, which is hilarious. I did a video Wednesday So not even 24 hours before this episode aired, asking, what is Commodore O? And giving a bunch of theories. And less than 24 hours later, it gets answered. And one of the theories that I put forward was right, but it was one that it was just kind of a throwaway at the end. So, hey, good timing with that. Should have put it out a week ago.
I just think it's so funny how there's always this, is she a Romulan? And some people are in the Romulan camp. Some are in the Vulcan camp. Oh, we were all right.
Mm-hmm.
She was a Savick.
Yeah, exactly.
I know what you were going to say, Valeris.
No. Yeah.
I had the same thought because that was the intention originally.
Yeah, for some reason I have trouble remembering her name, except when I'm not trying to remember her name.
That's me all the time, like Icheb tonight. It's so weird.
I do want to mention this from Geek Filter. Hi, Aaron. Because he does make a good point, and this was said. They basically said when people create synthetics that are self-aware, then it signals a threatening focus, like the Vulcans seeing humans when we broke the warp barrier. Excuse me. So something bad came when the synthetic life forms evolved. The thing is that I don't know that they were made to be self-aware. I don't know. There's a lot of questions still going on there. Did they create them initially to be self-aware?
Or was it an emergent property of
Yeah. Was it evolution? So it's hard for me to say. And and Becky 2010able, I am not aware of the similarity to Living Witness and Voyager because unfortunately Voyager is my least known Trek series and I am well overdue for a rewatch. I just have to find time. But thank you. I will keep an eye out for that.
I want to do the rewatch with you.
Okay.
Because I'm overdue for a rewatch of Voyager too.
I actually fairly recently rewatched Voyager. Nikki had never seen it, so
see, that's what makes it fun is when somebody has never seen.
Definitely. It's the closest you can come to watching it for the first time again. Yeah.
I was just telling my wife upstairs, just randomly, I forget what we were talking about, but we said, we were saying something about when we first met. And I said how when we were watching Picard last night, when I saw 7 of 9, it reminded me of our first date. Because in our first date, she was asking me things I was interested in. I said, and I like Star Trek. And she said, I was babysitting last night and I didn't get to see the end of Voyager. What happened to 7 of 9? And that always stuck in my head. And when I saw 7 of 9, I'm like, here I am all these years later watching 7 of 9 on the screen again with my wife.
Nice.
So there's my little story, love story. Anyway, that being said, Narek wasn't in this episode.
No,
his
ship was very briefly at the end.
Why was his ship there? How did he know to sit there? I want to know that.
He's wily. He figured out how to track them again. He found them. Yeah.
Maybe.
No, I think so.
I honestly just don't know. Maybe he knows. He extrapolated from what he knew about Soji. I don't know.
Maybe Rafi is being tracked. Maybe Rios was right. They're both being tracked.
No, I really don't think so.
I don't think that's true, but
I do wonder if he's tracking Soji somehow because he lost them when Soji wasn't yet aboard. And then once she was aboard, maybe he picked up the trail somehow because he's got some kind of tracker on Soji. He did spend a lot of time in close proximity with her. So
yeah. No, that's a good point. You would, he probably did because when she was walking around the cube, he probably wanted to know where she was at all times.
Yeah,
and I mean they've shared Romulan ale. Like he could have put some Viridium tracker in that at some point, and she's been carrying it all this time or something.
Can we think of anything that he gave her that she might have on herself? Besides sorry.
The only thing I can think of is if he did do something like that, it must have a limited range because otherwise he would have just gone to Nepenthe.
Yeah.
So
that's a good point. Yeah. You always have good points.
Yeah, we just picked it up somewhere. Oh, there they are. Because we do know the range on. So this was a deep cut reference. They said that the substance she ingested was Viridium. If you remember Star Trek 6, It was a Viridium patch that Spock slapped on Kirk's back that allowed them to track him. And they tracked him on the surface of Rura Penthe from the other side of the neutral zone in Federation space. So it does have some range.
Yes, I remember it bleeping on the screen, you know. That always, okay, we're hardcore Trek fans, so, but does it always bother you that patch is put on one way and then when you see it later it's turned a different way?
I figure maybe he was scratching, you know.
I mean, I know it was an accident probably more than anything with wardrobe or whatever, but I always like to think that Kirk realized that it was put there and like took it off and clever, and put it back.
He says that in the film. Because Bones is like, you know, we're gonna die here, and he's like, no, Spock slapped a Viridium patch on my
uniform. But he took it off to look at it and then put it back.
So off screen, Bruce is saying, because Kirk, I don't think notices that Spock does it at that time.
Oh, I think he did. He would have felt it.
But I think in Bruce's mind, he's like, oh, and I like that. Like,
Spock is so clever. I'll just put that back. Wait till McCoy.
Clever little Vulcan.
Yeah. He said cunning. That cunning little Vulcan.
Cunning little Vulcan.
Yeah. Has it ever occurred to you guys how racist Dr. McCoy is about Vulcans?
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of horrifying.
Isn't it? Like if you substitute Vulcan in with something else, it sounds really bad.
It really does.
Yeah. Yep. All right, let's not get into that. That's an episode of Positively Trek.
I'll write that down. That's a good topic.
Yeah. Oh, you're gonna write it. I'm writing it down. McCoy is a racist.
Man,
we're not gonna. I'm kidding when I say that, but no, McCoy fans doing it.
So Automated Joy asks, "Who's everyone's favorite Rios?" I think this is a wonderful time to talk about the wonder that is the actor who plays Cristobal Rios, Santiago Cabrera. Who, man, he is the MVP of this episode. So good, and he does an amazing job with the holograms. But I think he does an incredible job as Captain Rios in this episode.
Oh, Lord, yes. Lord, yes.
So who is everybody's favorite Rios hologram? Mine is one who has a name now, Enoch, the navigational hologram. Has been my favorite since he first showed up, and I loved him in this one too.
Now, which one is that? Was that the one that had the
That's the one with the Irish accent.
Yeah.
No. Who was on the bridge?
He's on the side of the angels.
Yes. Okay, that's the one I thought. That's what I thought, because my favorite, I thought from a previous episode, was navigational, so I'm not really sure what he is, but he's the guy that's so laid back and just like, hey, whatever, propped his feet up on the coffee table. Who's the?
Oh, that's the tactical one, Emmett.
Okay, tactical.
Yeah. Tactical and ops, yo.
Yeah. That's who I just think that's funny. He cracks me up.
The emergency tactical hologram. I don't know why they do that. Well, I mean, calling the ENH Enoch, that makes sense. But the because I mean that one makes sense, but the other names don't really, and so it's kind of like, well, what's the pattern here? Is there a pattern? And is it not hilarious that his engineering hologram is Scottish?
Oh, that was great. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes. And I love that. And then when my wife saw it, she's just like, oh my gosh, like Scotty. I mean, she just yelled it right out like that.
Except in the subtitles, they made a mistake on spelling of Dinne. It's Dinnae, not Dinna. Don't believe me? Look it up.
So Boa Trek says bad Scottish accent. Do you agree?
I at first, when he first started talking, I thought it was bad, but as he went, I was like, oh no, he's really into this. Like he's got, like, as he went, I was actually really impressed with the Scottish accent. With I mean, I'm not an expert, but just knowing the Scottish friends that I have and some of the things they've said and the way they say them, I was like, oh wow, most people wouldn't make that correct choice, but he totally did there. So I don't know.
Well, and here's the thing too. People think there's only one Scottish accent. There is not. There are
Right.
several. And
Absolutely.
so like
Right.
people in Edinburgh and people in Glasgow may not understand what the other is saying.
Right.
There can be that much of a difference both in accent and dialect. So, you know, who's to say that that's not a good Scottish accent, because there's not just one Scottish accent.
That is true. I don't understand what you're saying, Brandi, because you're Utah and I'm in Georgia, and it's not. I can't understand your accent right now.
I'm not
I'm
even
so
from
sorry.
your country. And
What if I talked like this? Is this better? Can you hear me now?
Why, yes, bless your heart.
Oh, thank you, darling. You're just too kind.
I
No,
will
but
say
you're
he's
right.
better at a Scottish accent than James Doohan. God rest his soul.
I know. I wonder. I thought that too.
I love James Doohan. I love Scotty, but I'm sorry, that man is Canadian, and that's not a great Scottish.
Well, he
accent.
was. So maybe Scotty was from Canada and moved to Scotland for a while and picked up a little
There
bit
you
of an
go.
kind of blend or something.
Yeah.
Could be.
Patrick is pointing out my username on here tonight, Bruce Rios Hologram, and wants to know which hologram I am. I am the emergency YouTube hologram.
Oh, that's very important. Very important.
Yeah. You have. Please state the nature of your complaining emergency. I'll put you on YouTube.
Yeah. Or please state the nature of your continuity canon emergency.
That's right.
So I'm seeing some love out there though for the emergency hospitality hologram as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
he cracks me up.
How they
Oh my
so overplayed the like leaning in to the
Well, see,
point where.
I noticed that the very first time we saw him.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. But
But
this
he
time, like
really
Rafi like
just-
fell onto the bed.
Biggest
What
laugh
are you-
that came out of me was when Rafi fell on the bed. It just was like,
It was so great. It was the best. Oh, I just love watching him do anything.
Mhm. Oh, he's so good. Like it's to
Yes.
the point where you forget he's the same actor. Like there's the
Mhm.
conceit that they all look
That's-
like Rios, but like
that's
every
the-
once in a while I'm like, oh right.
that's
like
the biggest compliment you could give him.
mhm.
Exactly. Well, and that's the thing. When we first meet Rios and the EMH is the one who greets Picard on the transporter, and I'm just like, and then they have the two of them together in that scene. I'm like,
Yeah, you're
is
not
that
sure.
the same actor? Or is that a different actor? And it took me the entire episode to decide it was the same actor because he's just that good. He's just that
Absolutely.
good.
Going back to the hospitality hologram, CJ Hoover's D says he is aggressively gentle. I love
Yes,
that.
he is. It's so true. It's so true. That's the perfect way to put it. Aggressively
Wow.
gentle.
Oh man.
Because no matter what, he's gracious.
Yeah, there's that.
Mhm.
So before we started, we were talking about Brandi. You had a crying moment in this
I did.
episode.
I had a cry point.
I did in this one too, and I'm wondering if it's the same one. And what's interesting is the first time I watched it, I didn't, and then when I watched it a second time, I did, which was odd. Like usually it's the other way around, and it's when Rios is talking to Rafi about his captain, and it was right at the moment where he talks about the captain's suicide, right at that moment, and I just like it physically hit me. His acting in that scene is so incredible. Like I could not believe how moved I was in that moment.
That was the second cry point
Okay.
for me.
All right.
The first cry point is when Picard and Soji are talking about Data, and she asks him what he would have said about Picard.
Yes.
And he says all of these things, and then she's silent for a minute, and she picks up her fork and takes a bite of eggs, and she says, "He loved you." And I'm just like,
Mhm.
Oh my God. The look on Patrick Stewart's face. My biggest complaint about that scene is I wish the camera would have just stayed on him a little longer, because his reaction was so good. And I just wanted to a little more of that, just soak in that reaction a little more. That's not really a complaint. I just really wanted just like another couple seconds.
Yeah, that was really good because I also love the choice to end the scene there as well.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah,
because there's a lot of ways you could take what she said. Like Picard even initially looks a little confused. Like, how could she know that with such certainty? You know, there's so many ways that could go as to like, what do you mean by that? How do you know that? Why do you believe that? But they don't. They just leave it there, and that's fine. Like, I love that choice.
Yeah. And it is almost like I don't know if he knows how to take it. Like you're saying, I mean,
yeah.
I mean, cause I take it that maybe she does she's connected to Data. You're right.
She has the head tilt.
Yeah.
Who's to say she doesn't have, a ghost of a memory somewhere.
Or a feeling.
Yeah. And that's what I was wondering. Like, there's so many ways they could go as to an explanation.
Yeah.
But it's not needed. Like, we don't need to get into the minutia of that. I love that it's just a little bit of an open-ended question there.
As opposed to Picard saying, oh, how could you know this? I just know. Or something like, just don't play it too long. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, we can just infer from that. They don't have to spell every single thing out to us. We're adults. We are intelligent. We don't need every single thing laid out.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing at Beatrix comment. I cried, I clawed at my face, hit my head with a blunt object.
I have seen some other reactions to this episode than what we've been espousing. So
okay, so exactly. Well, so yeah, so Beantown Brown, love that. Didn't Data eventually have emotions? And I had that thought too, because Picard talks about is like, Data didn't really have emotions. I don't remember exact quote.
That is not what he said.
Yeah,
he said he had difficulty expressing emotions, and that his ability to process and express them was limited, which is true.
Right. And he also said, much like myself.
Yeah, which is true. Even with the emotioning, the great emotioning.
That was the alternate title for Star Trek Generations. It was Star Trek: The Great Emotioning.
Yes.
And then a production assistant said, no.
That's in my head canon now. You can't undo that. Thank you for that, Dan.
Yes, I mean, he's not saying he didn't have emotions. It's just acknowledging the fact that he wasn't fully, what am I trying to say? Like, didn't have a total grasp of them, and he wasn't always emotional because, he, for most of Data's life, he didn't have emotions. Even then when he got the emotion chip later, like if you watch the films, it seems like he turns it off, and it was off for a while. And even, Dan, like some of the novels we read that in the time too, the emotion chip was taken away.
Yeah, because that's one thing, like he played it in Nemesis as though he didn't have the emotion chip anymore.
Right.
Which the novels picked up and ran with and said that he actually didn't. That's not canon, but you could interpret it that way. The other thing that I love about the novels when they're talking about Data before he gets the emotion chip, I think it's Geordi who says in a novel, Data had emotions. He didn't have human emotions. He had android emotions. And if you watch Data in TNG and the way he reacts to things and his curiosity and that sort of thing, you can't say that he's completely emotionless. But what Picard says absolutely holds true. He can't process. He doesn't process it the same way that, other people do, I guess.
Yeah, even with the emotion chip, he still struggled. So not like being overwhelmed by certain emotions and not knowing what to do with them or what he should be feeling or shouldn't be feeling. It's just, that's difficulty. People think that difficulty in processing his emotions and expressing them means that he couldn't do it. No, it was just harder for one reason or another. Yeah.
And it definitely holds true. Like even after he had the emotion chip, in times of great stress, he turns it off in First Contact. In Insurrection, he didn't take it with him on the Baku mission. So that doesn't sound like somebody who's processing his emotions well if he chooses to turn them off or remove them at various times. So I think it definitely still holds up what Picard said.
Agree.
Yeah, I agree too. Oh, emotions. Speaking of emotions, you were talking about the Rios scene about the captain.
Oh man.
So just starting off with Rios in his cabin, what did it mean when we saw the different little figurines of mermaids or creatures from the sea?
Because that's what La Sirena means. It means mermaid.
But wasn't there something else in this too?
Like why is that such a touchstone for him? Like he named his ship that as well.
Right.
I don't know, but I think if I could have gotten a better look at the books on his shelf, I might be able to answer that question.
There's a few that I noticed. One of the last one that's lying down is actually Surak and existentialism, which I thought was great. Yep.
I love that so much.
Isn't that great? Like I want to read that.
No kidding. Me too.
Yeah.
What was did you guys watch the Ready Room? The one that's on CBS All Access, not on Trek FM. What was the trivia question?
The trivia question was
what was the Ibn Majid named after?
Was it named after? And I did not know the answer. That's the only trivia question they've done that I didn't know the answer.
Same here.
And I guessed that it was I didn't guess Navigator.
I didn't.
City. You guessed what?
I guessed a city. That's the one.
Whatever the other one was, I can't remember what it was, but I want to say it was.
I think.
No.
Yeah. Oh, the fourth. No. I can't remember what the fourth one was.
The fourth one was a city. That's the one.
No, it was. It was philosopher, navigator, something city, and I can't remember what the one I thought it was, but it wasn't that.
Okay. I did know it, but that's only because when I did the Easter eggs video for earlier, I had actually looked it up when he mentioned the ship's name. So
Explorer. I think it was Explorer.
Yeah,
I think you're
Explorer.
Right,
yeah. I might be wrong. I can't remember. That doesn't.
I think you're right. It sounds right to me.
But no, though.
When the trivia question came on, I've been getting them all right too. And that one came up, and I yelled. I was like, "No, that's not Star Trek trivia. That has nothing to do with Star Trek."
Expand your mind, Bruce.
But what was the answer? What was the answer to that?
It was Navigator.
Navigator. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Ahmad.
Astronomer. Thank you, Zamboni Josiah. Astronomer.
Yes, that's right.
See, I knew Explorer felt wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he technically was also an explorer, so that would have been that would have canceled out the Navigator one. So
right. Exactly.
Navigator. So okay, going back to Rios, and then we had he was playing a vinyl record.
Yes,
a Billie Holiday,
wasn't it?
It was Billie Holiday, baby.
Oh, okay.
It was Billie Holiday.
Doesn't believe that's true.
I watched it with the subtitles on, and it was Billie Holiday.
The cheap video I watched lied.
What did the video say that you saw?
I think they said that it was Ella Fitzgerald, but okay.
Doesn't even sound like Ella Fitzgerald.
Well, whatever they're playing on the Walkman, that's
that cracked me up.
That was great. Okay, so the first time I watched it, I was kind of like, did she say Walkman? No, she must have said something else. And so the second time through, that was brilliant. I loved that. I thought that was great. The old music thing. Walkman, I think, whatever.
They even capitalized it in the subtitles because that was a brand name.
Yeah, because it was Sony, right?
Yep.
Brilliant. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
So earlier, CJ Hoover SD said, is that a reference to the first 2005 Doctor Who episode? Does anybody know? I don't remember the Walkman. I mean, I do, but I don't know. It's been a while since I've watched that, so
not sure. Yeah, I don't know that.
It could be.
I've seen it, but I
don't remember.
Don't know.
We'll have to do a live show of Doctor Who sometime.
Okay, I'm game.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Yeah, for sure. For Christmas, I asked for a Doctor Who Star Trek Next Generation lunchbox, and I got it. I'm very happy with it because there was a crossover in the IDW comics, and they made a lunchbox out of it.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
I'll grab it. Cool. Keep talking.
Okay, well, I guess one thing we haven't talked about yet is the 7 of 9 Elnor Borg side of the story.
Yeah.
Bruce. Oh, I gotta come back for this.
Whee!
Oh,
There we go. Look at that.
nice. Yes.
Yay.
Yes.
Oops.
Oh,
So
yeah.
anyway,
Lovely.
yeah, the Elnor story. I love Elnor.
Elnor,
I want to plush Elnor.
So I was actually, as far as the Elnor part of it, I wanted more Elnor. He didn't really have too much to do after having called for help from Seven. He just kind of hangs out with her.
His best line was, "Are you going to assimilate me now?"
I know.
Yeah.
But I love when she shows up and she asks where Hugh is, and he just runs up to her and hugs her, and I'm like, oh, I want that. I want to comfort Elnor. I want to cuddle him like a little baby.
Right. That's why I want
but meanwhile, Seven is like, okay.
Okay. Yeah. She didn't expect that, but wave absolute candor, y'all.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have to say though that the 7 of 9 scenes in this were my least favorite of the episode because I just didn't like. It really wasn't working for me that much of Seven giving herself to the Borg, and I know it's not connected to the Borg, so that helps. That's just the cube, but it just kind of was like I really think Seven. She struggled some, but I don't know. It just didn't really work for me.
The first time I watched it, I wasn't as engaged with it as I was the second time. The second time
Same.
I was, I bought her rage, like the just casual killings that Narissa and everyone else was doing. That would be enough to make her go, okay, no, F this. I'm doing this. Like, and again, it goes to the acting, the micro expressions, all that kind of stuff. Like you can see that moment where the switch gets flipped and she's like, all right, I've got this power at my fingertips. I'm going to use it. And what I was really surprised at, of course, was how quickly they were all ejected into space. And that moment, like, I actually did listen to the Star Trek Picard podcast, thanks to you, Bruce. Cool. And to hear Michael Chabon talking about that and how they were, that was one of the most ambitious visual effects things that they did this season. It was incredible. You could I don't want to take delight in that scene necessarily because it was so horrific, but you can hear the screams as they're getting blown into space. And it's blown out, not sucked out. Thank you, Data. And just to the point where the camera's pulled back so far that they're particles on screen, like they're individual motes in this vastness was just. And then what a shot! What a
pulling out on the outside of the Borg cube and you see them in the distance and you think that's it, and then another grouping flies by the camera. It's like and they're coming out on another end. There's more,
And I saw, I forget where I saw this, but someone, I think it was on Twitter, saying we are Borg being used not as a villain's cry but as a hero's cry. It was just like, what? How did this happen? That's crazy. I love it.
Yeah. And then the 4. Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead. I was just saying she didn't want to do it, but she did what she had to do to save lives. That was her ultimate goal. And thankfully, she was able to, the Borg part of her was able to say, nope, she's still got stuff to do, and let her go. So that's strength. That's just strength, because the Borg is still part of her, and it's never going to be gone unless they go the way in the books. But even then, I'm not going to go into that. So, but because it's not canon, but I feel like it shows incredible strength of character that, she was afraid to do it because she was afraid she wouldn't want to let them go. But she did what she had to do for the greater good. I have to say it every time, like we're watching Hot Fuzz. Sorry, the greater good. If you haven't seen Hot Fuzz, what's wrong with you? But I feel like it just proved how far she's come and how strong she is and how she knows who she is.
B Log says, I didn't get a hero vibe from it. It scared me. Yeah. I get what you're saying there. It scared me too. And like, I think Elnor in this case is kind of the audience surrogate. He's the one that's taking the place of us, looking at her doing this and saying, are you going to assimilate me now? Like, he's scared of her too. And yeah, I think we're supposed to be scared of this awesome power that she's wielding. And the fact that she herself is scared that she won't want to give it up as well. I think there's a lot of things going on there. I thought it was really interesting. I've been saying that a lot. It's really interesting.
It is. That's really interesting, Dan. So, you know, the little device that Elnor used to call Seven, you know, there were some questions last week as to, you know, how did he get that? It was at Picard's, and then, oh, well, maybe it was Hugh's. And then, of course, yeah, when she comes on the cube, she's like, where's Hugh? But then even on the ready room, they mentioned, you know,
that was Hughes.
It was Hughes. Yeah. So, yeah. So that
they confirmed.
Yeah.
So I got to ask, in the next couple of weeks, what I'm going to assume is going to be this big showdown at the Synth's homeworld. Is 7 of 9 and Elnor going to show up in their Borg cube to help
That's
out?
what I was thinking.
I know.
was wondering, because how else are they going to get there in time?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's my thinking.
Transwarp conduits, I'm telling you.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I thought that too, and I'm like, okay, is that going a little too far? Like, what? I don't know. It just, we'll see. We'll see. It just seems like a bit much.
Not to me, because now this cube is deserted. What good is it doing anyone else? Might as well use what you have.
And Seven does say the cube is ours now, or something like that.
The cube is ours, and then what if we use the cube to fight the Borg? Cube fighting cube. Almost sound like it said Q. You know?
I've actually done that in Star Trek Timelines, the game.
Huh. That's cool.
I've been a Borg cube fighting a Borg cube, and my Borg cube was higher level, so I won.
Nice. Was anybody kind of disappointed that we didn't get to Deep Space 12 and see the squadron of Starfleet ships?
I knew they weren't going to get there. I knew there was.
I knew they weren't too, but I feel like.
Okay, this is how dumb this is. When they said Deep Space, and for a split second, they guys say 9, Deep Space 12, and then I thought, okay, well, I hope it looks just like Deep Space 9, and then I thought, wait, that doesn't make any sense because it wouldn't be another Cardassian station.
No.
I was like, oh, can you imagine? Just imagine if he said we got to go to Deep Space 9. That would have freaked me out. Freaked me out, big time.
That might have been too far.
It would be odd, though. It wouldn't have quite worked, it being, okay, nerd hat.
Okay.
In the Alpha Quadrant, and they're in the Beta Quadrant they'd be pretty far from Deep Space Nine at this point.
No one would know that.
Larry
Nemeczek.
Have you met nerds?
Stellar cartography book of Larry Nemeczek's. No one would notice that. Oh, look at this side. I didn't show this side. Here, I gotta show that real quick. Yay.
Ooh, that's cool.
Anyway. What else happened in this episode that we haven't talked about?
Oh man.
Girardi woke up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's talk about Girardi. I think so
gosh.
I'm not murdering anyone anymore. So that's good.
What's that actress's name again?
Alison Pill.
Alison Pill. I mean, that poor person, that woman goes in every day to work and she has to play happy, sad, mad, like every emotion in one episode.
She's amazing, you guys.
Yeah. She's incredible.
I still wouldn't say I like her character, but I can sympathize now. Yeah. So I finally have a connection to her, but I can unequivocally state that Alison Pill is amazing at this role. Because what she is asked to do in just one scene, and she's just perfect.
Definitely, and I love like going beyond that, even just to the character. And I'm not saying she's had a full redemption or anything like that yet, but it would be so easy to be able to say I was completely manipulated, blah, blah, blah. And she acknowledges that, this poison was put in her mind that drove her to do this, but she is still turning herself in for the murder of Bruce Maddox. She's accepted that this was a choice that I made. I did it. I have to face the consequences of that. Whereas I think some other characters could easily say, like, my defense is it was all Commodore O. She put it into my mind to do it, and yada, yada, yada. And I was like, that's a good choice for that character.
I do like that she explained that O put a psychic block in there to keep her from talking about it, because we know what a chatterbox she can be. So
yeah.
it absolutely, and I know she's not disciplined enough to keep her mouth shut. So that makes total sense. It really makes total sense why she did the things that she did and felt so horrible about it. And you could tell she really, I think if you were to go back and watch all of the scenes up until this point with her in them, that you would see that longing for her to just come clean, and she couldn't. She literally couldn't.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Absolutely.
And it's so powerful to see her have that scene with Picard and him talking to her and her emotions there, and then fast forward to Soji, and it's this wonderment instead of accomplishment.
Man. Yeah, I the video that I put out earlier today, I was just gushing over that childlike awe that she has of Soji, and the 3 birthmarks on her cheek and the mole on her chest and all this stuff that's artistry. Dr. Sung made Data, but he didn't put 3 birthmarks on his cheek. I just love her just total wonderment at that, and how that completely wipes away any thought that this being deserves to be destroyed. Like, I love that was what pushed it out, that she basically said, I would not take that opportunity now. And I believe her. Like, I absolutely believe her in that moment.
Me too. I'm just hoping O didn't put something else in her mind that we don't know about yet, because that's a possibility.
Yeah, they really need a Vulcan on there to do what would the Vulcan mind meld version of like a virus scan be?
Yeah, let's I don't know, it's just like, hey, let's check out your Katra. Hold still.
Just
relax, breathe normally. So
remember.
I feel like this is just a gut feeling. I have no evidence whatsoever to go off of, but I feel like there's one more trick card that O has to play with Jurati.
It feels that way, doesn't it? Like, yeah.
I feel like
I hope not, but that feels right.
I want to be wrong. I really want to be wrong. However, Romulans behind the attack on Mars called it.
Yeah, and I loved that that Rafi had just a hint of an "I told you so" moment. I love that. Just like, sounds familiar, doesn't it? And Picard's like, carry on.
Yep.
I love that.
Yeah.
Aaron Harvey says that he just got a message from Tamlin Tomita, who is Commodore O. So tell her to jump on. We'd love to have her.
Yeah, come and discuss it. What you can say.
Sure, CBS love that.
Yeah.
Well, what was the message?
Just tell her that we adore her, and we have loved seeing her on Picard, and
absolutely
we wish her all the happiness and good things.
And regardless of what some other people out there believe, she rocks sunglasses.
Absolutely. She rocks everything. She rocked that big hooded robe. She can just rock it all.
Definitely.
She's a rocker.
She needs to show up wearing those sunglasses at the final battle. Just like deliver like a totally kick-ass line and then put them on, and then
you hear
deliver the rest
song,
of the line.
I wear my sunglasses at night.
Oh, I was going the CSI Miami route, but okay.
That's just where my head canon went.
I'm gonna answer this question. Becky 20 Tenable says, "Okay, how did they figure out about the Romulans being the one who carried out the Mars attacks? Because after that scene where everybody went crazy except for Narissa and kind of Rhonda, Narissa says we have to stop them, and O tells her where they're going to start, and that's Mars.
That planet the humans call Mars.
Yeah.
Is she asking though, how did they figure out the Romulans were behind the attack?
Yeah. That it makes sense because
wait, who's they?
Like the characters on the show, not us.
No, but the characters on the ship? Because they did.
I would assume so, yeah, because they're sitting around talking about it.
Right, because so Girardi's had the visions implanted into her from O, and then also Soji clicks in on things too. Yeah. So I mean, a combination of all the people in the room figure. I just felt like as a collective, no pun intended to the Borg, but as a collective group, they figured it, put all the pieces together.
Yeah, because they discovered that the Zhat Vashes, one of their goals was to get synths banned, and what got synths banned? It was the Mars attack.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And plus, with the mind meld, that information would have been passed to Girardi from O. What we saw in the beginning, probably all of that from that whole scene, is probably in Girardi's head as well.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yep.
Cool.
And then we figured it out.
Yay! I can headcanon anything, you guys.
I keep bringing this up, but we get away from it. And I want to go to you, Dan, because this was an emotional scene, but that scene with Rios talking about his captain. I love how he went through and he had his old uniform and he pulls out the cigar box and it's got his communicator and his pips in there and Gladys Knight and everybody's in there and pulls out a picture of himself. And then there's a picture, the drawing of him and Soji, but it was, what was the name?
Jana.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Which is another flower name. It's a type of rose, apparently. So.
Oh, because her the person Jana was with was what? Beautiful Flower, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wonder what
and Soji and Daj had orchids named after them, I think is how it went.
Or maybe they were named after the orchids.
Oh yeah, I guess in their memories they were named after the orchids were named after them, but in reality, yeah, that makes sense. She was created 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, one thing that I wanted to say too, when Rios first sees Soji, I knew immediately from the way he was looking at her that he recognized her. And so I wondered, okay, how can that be?
Yeah.
And it's gotta have something to do with what happened with Captain Vandermeer. And we finally get that whole story. And it's just, it breaks my heart. Every second that he's telling that story breaks my heart.
Yeah. This is the one, and it's amazing and a great performance. It's the one part of this though that that's pretty convenient if you think about how many people there are in the galaxy. And this is the captain that was hired by Picard and suggested by Raffi, that he also has that connection to the story. It's a pretty big coincidence. That said, it's great.
I thought of that.
Great. I love it.
I thought of that too. But in my head canon, it's the Force that brings everyone together.
Here's the thing, though. Big coincidences do happen in real life.
Yeah, and I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying, when they do happen, it's kind of
And this is kind of a little bit addressed, and some of the lines are taken out of Star Trek 09 that, there's a certain destiny. There's a plan in the universe to bring things together.
I hate that so much. I'm sorry.
It's real science. Okay. It's real science, Dan.
Yeah. No, I mean it's not the biggest stretch in the world. It's not as big a stretch as Kirk finding old Spock in the cavern on that planet that he was jettisoned to by young Spock.
Don't get me started.
That's almost first breaking coincidence. This isn't that, but it does it inches its way into small universe syndrome for me a little bit.
It does.
But it's also forgivable.
I mean, really, a lot of this is small universe. Yeah.
It didn't bother me at all. Not even for a second.
And fair enough.
It didn't bother me, but the thought crossed my mind what Dan is saying. I'm like, oh, well.
Yeah. I should say, it didn't like, it's not sticking in my craw or anything, but it, like Bruce said, it kind of like, oh, that's a weird coincidence. You know.
Yeah, that didn't even occur to me. I was just like, no, I just like, okay.
I thought in this episode that we would get some explanation as to why Rios looked at Rafi as the possible connection to the Romulans in the last episode. Because there was a lot of times where we're thinking, oh, he's figuring out Girardi and he's using maybe Rafi to try to extract her admission that she was the one behind the tracking or the murder of Bruce Maddox or whatever. But then he goes back to the bridge and he kind of looks at Rafi and says something. She says, what are you going to do? Shoot me out of an airlock? And he's like he is kind of suspicious of her, but we never really got anything from this that clarified maybe why he was like, I'm still not sure if he really was suspicious of her or not. That's what I'm getting at.
I think he was hedging all of his bets.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
And the way he put it too, it does seem like, it's like, you know, we dropped her off on Free Cloud and she was never to return. And then all of a sudden she's back with no explanation. Like from his perspective, that would be a little suspect. So I buy that.
Well, and the thing is, she didn't tell him why she was there. She mentioned that she had a son, but she didn't say she went to Free Cloud to see him.
Exactly.
So he doesn't know that.
Yeah.
So I think he was just he knew it had to be either Girardi or Rafi that they were tracking because he knew it wasn't him. So it had to be one or the other, and he was just trying to figure it out.
Narek is still tracking them somehow.
I still think that he extrapolated where they would go to get there quickly and made his best guess as to where to hang out and ended up being right. That's my thought.
Well, I have a feeling we'll find out for sure.
I think so
bet
too.
we do.
We should, I do want to talk for just 1 second about Rafi as well, though, because one thing I noticed in this episode was how much more together she is and how better she looked because she had a mission. She was like, I'm going to get to the bottom of what's going on with Rios. I'm going to figure out what's going on here. And like Rafi on a mission, when she's got, you know, something in her teeth that she can sink them into and get after it. Like that's the best cure for her, it seems. So
well,
like,
that
she was
and
on her game here.
That and she shut off her ability to drink alcohol.
I mean that too. Absolutely.
Which was great too, because she didn't like totally fight that. You know, it was just like, oh yeah, I know, I shut it off, but whatever. You know, it wasn't like she's like, just turn it back on. I need, you know, she wasn't fight. She was able to accept it.
Yeah. That was the proverbial dumping it down the drain, right? Like and the thing is, if she hadn't done that, she would have fallen back into it. But because she did that, she was able to push past that and sink her teeth into this mission of finding out what's up with Rios. And I thought that was beautiful. That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus she's super, I mean, she's finally able to prove what she's known all along and have other people believe her and see the truth of it. And that level of vindication is empowering.
Absolutely. Yeah. That was great to see.
I have to tell you how empowering. Sorry.
Can I also say it's a very small thing, but I love Michelle Hurd's the way she plays Rafi when she does this little like confuddled thing when she's talking. She's like, and then speaks. I love that. I just love that. It's
fantastic.
It's great because all of the characters we see in Star Trek usually up to this point are these, you know, staid Starfleet types who always say exactly what they mean to say. And I love that little befuddlement. It's a tiny thing, but I love it.
Yes.
Me too.
Brandi, did you see Aaron Harvey's message from Tamlin there?
Yes, I did. And I thought they were all supposed to hate me. Oh, an actor never satisfied.
That's great.
Oh, we do hate the character,
yes,
but we love you.
Yeah,
as
definitely.
the character that we love to hate. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I
She
love
needs-
her. I don't hate her.
Oh,
she needs to
you
show
love
up at
O?
a convention wearing
Oh,
sunglasses.
please.
I love
Please
O.
do. Come to Salt Lake City, please. Once the pandemic is over. Come. September. It's in September. Come in September to FanX. The 17th through the 19th, if I remember correctly. Or is it the 16th through the 18th? Anyways, one of those weekends.
Look it up. It'll be on the website.
We need more Trek people. Please.
And bring your sunglasses.
Yeah.
Bring the sunglasses.
And the ears too, of course.
Yes.
Bring your
please,
Yoda
bring it
ears.
all. Just I don't even care if you bring the ears and the sunglasses. Just come. Just come here.
Oh my gosh. You got to go just to get Brandi to shut up. You got to effing shut up. No, this is my segue.
Oh man. That conversation. Oh my goodness. That was I don't
It
know.
was almost like a replay of the first conversation we saw between them.
But it was so good. Like, I love that Picard kind of gets his comeuppance on her a little bit, but she's still not giving any quarter. Like, okay, stop rubbing my face in it. You're right. Shut the F up.
Mhm.
And then from all of that, all the way to Picard's like, I love that. That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to interject really quickly. John Barnes, where are you? Are you in Utah? I want to know.
Oh yeah, because he's getting all excited for Salt Lake City.
Oh yeah, SLC up there. Yeah.
I'm just curious
Uh,
because my maiden name is Barnes.
oh, we might have a connection. See, the universe
Oh.
is too small, Dan.
John's in Lincoln. He is
I don't know if
miles
this is
away from
it's
me.
too big a coincidence. I don't know if I buy that.
John, I'm in Ogden. So
how close is Ogden and Layton to each other?
they're about 11, 12 miles apart, depending
Oh
on
my
the part of Ogden.
gosh.
Oh wow.
Very close together. I drive
So
past Layton on
interesting.
my way to work every day. Have spent many years in Layton working. So I'm not working in Layton anymore, but yeah.
So John, are you related to the Barnes in Layton?
No. Okay, there
Brandi.
are barns in Layton.
Do you have
Basically-
relatives in Layton, Brandi, on the Barnes side?
Because my dad was one of 9 children.
Ah.
And so there are a lot of Barneses out there.
There are
But
Barnes.
yeah, there's so many Barnes out there. But not necessarily all of us are related. So yeah. I'm
That's
saying
funny,
if you were a child of somebody who's from your family's from Ada, Oklahoma, then we're not related. Oh well, we may be distantly, but yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Crazy.
Are there any like Gibsons out there? Like Gunthers? Oh, I like Aaron's Barnes and Noble.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of a joke to make there, but
That was
I
a good
couldn't.
one.
Yeah, I got that a lot too.
Barnes.
There also used to be a Barnes Bank, and everybody would ask me, "Oh, are you part of that family?" And I'm like, "No, nope,
Yeah.
not part of that family."
Oh, Patrick mentioning, sorry, Picard in the chair building up to a possible big hero moment, and then I don't actually know how this works. That was great. It was so good.
That was good.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
That
the
was
like
absolutely-
he's like cracking his knuckles and like, huh.
Oh, that also reminds me, since we're talking the bridge, the Rio singing the lullaby.
That
to
was cool.
Get back control of the ship. I love
No.
that.
He's
No, my
it's
mom
it
sang it
was
to me. She didn't like people playing with her things either.
Yeah.
I don't remember enough Spanish to know exactly what he was talking about, but I know the first thing was about rice with milk or rice pudding, which is a traditional Mexican dessert that I
rice
love.
pudding.
Oh, it's so good. But the way it's made traditionally, it's not like gloppy. It's more liquidy, and it's
Mhm.
just it sweetens just perfectly. Anyway, sorry, I got distracted by arroz con leche. So I understood that part about it, and I'm like, a lullaby about rice pudding? What do you want?
Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah,
I
that
can
was
have
really
Rio
cool.
sing to me all day.
Wait, what was that? I missed what you said, Brandi.
And I could have Rio sing to me all day.
Oh. Well, you can replay that scene over and over again.
Yeah, it'll help me go to sleep at night.
Yeah, it was a great scene. I loved that, like, he sang it nicely, but he also like sang it quickly, like up tempo to like get it out quickly, blah blah blah, shut down the ship. Ha. It was good.
Yeah, it was almost like it didn't even occur to him at first to do it, and then it was like, oh, wait a second. And he starts singing. So yeah, I'm just reading some things. I'm looking in Memory Alpha at the summary of the episode because I didn't take notes. And yeah, it was Billie Holiday. Solitude.
I told y'all.
I absolutely believe you. I totally blame the like cheat video from Screen Crush that I watched. I was like, what did I miss? Oh, I missed that. Okay, blah, blah.
Another thing I like is
Screen
that
Crush.
Soji likes French fries and peppermint ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like peppermint ice cream, but I like French fries. And I got upset when she knocked her fries on the floor. But
I don't like ice cream.
You don't like ice cream?
Wow.
Really? Wow.
I don't.
Why?
It's too cold. It's sticky, and it leaves a bad aftertaste in my mouth. And I just, it doesn't excite me at all. It's just too much for me. It's not exciting at all for me.
That's a good problem to have. I wish I didn't like ice cream because I eat too much of it.
Actually, yeah.
I wish I didn't like virtually every other dessert out there.
I have that issue as well.
I'm not that big on pie either, but yeah.
Oh, I love pie. I wasn't a big ice cream person when I was a kid. It was just like, oh, ice cream. I mean, sometimes I was excited about it. Whatever. Oh, yeah, ice cream. The older I got, the worse it got. And it didn't help when they started putting chunks of things in ice cream. That's where it gets me. I always have to have ice cream with chunks of things. The more, or putting toppings on, like that's where I fail because of that. If it's just plain chocolate, I'm like, whatever. But it's chocolate with swirls, this and chunks of this and this on top. I'm done. It's over.
Okay. Christopher Hill says, my girlfriend wants to know what kind of ice cream you've been eating. Everyone else in my family loves ice cream, so I have been forced to eat many different kinds. I've had Ben & Jerry's. I've had all of the big name brands. I've had homemade ice cream. I've had it all. I don't like it. I just don't.
So I'll just say that I mean I eat all kinds, but the last one we had here in the house that we just finished was it was blueberry cheesecake. I think that's what it was.
Why wouldn't you just eat blueberry cheesecake?
Because it's an ice cream. Look, my oldest daughter just loves chocolate, and sometimes when since there's nothing in it but chocolate, I actually take a spoon of peanut butter and I eat the chocolate ice cream with the big chunk of peanut butter, and I just lick off a little bit the ice cream off top of the peanut butter, and I keep dipping the peanut butter in the because I need the combo. I just
what is happening here?
It's great. It's great.
Wow.
I love what everybody's saying about their ice creams in here. Give us more.
Yeah. Oh, my grandma used to work. I'm sorry. Just so you know, my grandma, who had a lot of control over our lives when we were kids, my sisters and I were kids, she worked at a place called Snellgroves, which was a local ice cream place. And they were set up like an old school 50s diner. You know, they had the bar with the seats, and they would make malts and shakes and all those sort of things. And there was a candy counter, but their big thing was ice cream. So there was always just tons of ice cream in my childhood, and just so it's not like I've only had bad ice cream. I have not.
Bruce and I are both like, ooh, you're like,
yeah.
Automated Joy, 10 chocolate sundaes. I don't know that I've ever seen anyone consume 10 chocolate sundaes before. I'm in a really bad mood.
So
Excellent.
Just to Automated Joy, just the other night I went to a Culver's near me and had the what was it, the cookie dough. I forget what they call it, the incredible cookie dough or something. But anyway, I saw your comment about Culver's. I just did that the other night. Because we now have them in Georgia. Nice.
So anything from this episode that we haven't talked about?
I don't know. I don't think so. I'm sure we're missing something. But
we've got a big Romulan fleet headed their way, I guess. And
yes. And then the
Narissa escaped. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's address that because some people didn't know that she beamed out.
Yeah, I could tell from the flash of light.
Yeah.
And then her body was gone.
I've seen some people online question that, and I saw Dan, you clearing that up for someone, or Brandi, maybe it was you. I saw somebody on Twitter clearing that up.
It was, I'm sure it was Dan. It was not me. I didn't have a lot of time to be on Twitter today.
Because a bunch of XBs were attacking her, which I really liked that. She, like, they took out the one guy first while she's still talking. I was like, oh, this is getting good.
That was good. And I know we've already talked about Peyton List, but man, like her over the top vamping as a bad guy here was so good.
Yes.
I broke your gun. Someone get me another weapon.
Yes.
Love it. But yeah, no, she's getting swarmed by the XBs, and you see her beam away just before the ships all warp off. So she's gonna play a role in the end game for sure.
And also, I would appreciate you people stop shaming me for not liking ice cream. We all have our likes and dislikes. This is why I don't say it very often, because this is the reaction I get. Why can't you just let me not like it and move on? Please.
Everybody has their likes and dislikes. We don't shame anybody here. We might poke fun at you a little bit, but
if you don't like Star Trek Picard, we will shame you. That's the one exception.
No. If you don't like Star Trek Picard, that's fine. You're wrong, but that's fine. No, I'm just kidding.
If you don't like Star Trek Picard, why are you here?
And you know what? If you don't like Star Trek Picard flavored ice cream, then something's really wrong with you. Ben and Jerry's, you need to come up with Star Trek Picard ice cream. I'm going to ask the chat. If Ben and Jerry's created Star Trek Picard ice cream, what would they put in it and what flavor? Go.
Oh, Zamboni Josiah. I also don't like cheese, and everybody gives me a hard time for it. I like mozzarella on pizza. That might be about it. That might be about it. No.
I love cheese. The only thing you're going to get me I don't love is olives. That's it. I don't like
olives either.
I don't like olives.
I hate olives.
So do we want to? I don't know.
Earl Grey ice cream. Everybody's saying Earl Grey.
Yeah, get some bergamot up in there, yo.
Oh, have you guys ever had sesame flavored ice cream? It kind of comes out like as a dark gray, almost black.
I don't know if I had that. No.
It's so good. It's got like this nutty flavor to it, like not that sweet. It's so good. And you mix that with a little bit of green tea ice cream. Oh my God. Okay. Sorry. I'm excited.
Brandi, are you reading the ice cream flavors for Picard?
Yeah, grapes and ice cream from Star Trek Picard. Candy artificial heart.
Bunny corn ice cream.
Fish tank ice cream.
Oh. You broke Brandi, guys.
That was Chris
Hey, Aaron, I see your comment about Earl Grey whiskey that you made at your Trek improv party. When I was at your improv theater the other week, I don't know what kind of wine it was, but it's not that good. I don't know what it was. I didn't like it.
My goodness.
I drank it, but I didn't care for it that much.
I can just picture Candy Hearts in this.
I bet they're sour.
Oh.
I know. I love Brandi's laugh too, Patrick. That makes my day. I want that to be my ringtone.
Oh. Sorry. Thank you. I needed that. It was like that time that Q gives Data a laugh as a gift before he disappears. That's how I feel right now.
Nice.
You know what? I think that's going to be the show ending at this point. I don't think it can get better than that. I was going to mention the compass, but who cares?
Yeah, that was tender. You know, pretend that it works, and she pulls it out, and it's pointing towards home. Yeah. And we think of Kestra.
Yeah, definitely. I was gonna say, do we want to rate the episode? But I feel like we're always like, it was really good. I don't know. Like a scale, I have a hard time.
I'll just say real quick. I don't know how I'll rank it or rate it. I didn't like it as much as last week's.
Yeah, I'd say this is not my favorite episode from the season, but it was still very good.
Yeah. I don't pick favorites, so
yeah,
I just enjoy all of it, and it had so much great Rios action in it that how could I not just love that? Especially all 5 of the holograms doing this at the same time in the exact same way.
Okay,
how do you do that 5 times and nail it?
Let's do it. And 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, see, that's the problem. There's a slight delay.
That said, I think they can tweak that in editing. Like they can make that perfect.
Yeah, but still, we
did pretty good. I just watched the replay.
It's not just the timing; it's the exact way he did it. It's the same way every single time. Yeah. Same head tilt, all of that.
Okay, I'm gonna call out some of you people in the chat. Every week, people give ratings of 7 of 9. It's no more. It's done. We've been done that.
we won't do it anymore. 5 out of 5 whole carts. That's what I think. Oh, he said even hollows. I was just thinking that he was talking about the whole cards because Rafi says, I think you've each been dealt a whole card. Let's turn them over.
Yeah, I thought that was like a really good deep cut reference to the episode.
Yeah. So go with the first one, Chris, because that one.
I'll say 7 out of a conclave of 8.
I wanted to talk about the 8 sons. I thought that was interesting. Like, who did that? You know,
could it have been the Takan Empire? I think that would be a neat.
Were they 200,000 years ago?
Maybe. That would require me rewatching The Last Outpost, and I don't want to punish myself that much yet. Or I could dig out the Star Trek Encyclopedia, I guess. But
I'd love to see some theories on that. Interesting. I like Liam's rating 11 out of 12 deep spaces.
I like that.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I know you don't need a rank and all that, Brandi, but it's just another chapter in this novel, right?
That's the thing. Yeah. More than anything else, this is because it's a continuing story. Yeah.
But if you're going to ask me, I'm going to rank it highly because of everybody who gave amazing performances, especially one person who did like 6 different performances. So it's, I would just for that, I would give it 10 out of 10 candy artificial hearts.
She's still into those candy artificial hearts.
I love it.
Oh, that's going to tickle me for a while. Sorry, you guys.
Oh, Chris Littlefield says, Dan, come on my show this weekend. Okay, sure.
That's really great. Mr. Littlefield, what is your show? Promote. I know it's not Literary Tracks.
Thank God you finally said that. I was really thirsty.
I know.
I know we've talked about the books like 3 or 4 times and it never came up. I'm going, what's going on here?
So yeah, Dan, you're recording postcards from the line.
Yep. Excited about that. And Chris Littlefield says it's not the ready room.
Which ready room?
But postcards from the line. So
which ready room? This is the unready room. So
yeah, we are
awesome.
There was a king called Ulrith the Unready. It's not a joke. That's true. What did he do to be called that? Eddie Izzard has a whole bit about him.
I'm gonna have to look that up now. Awesome. Well, I guess all that's probably left is to say where people can find us other than Literary Treks. And Positively Trek. So those of you who have been wondering, it's out. Go find it. Subscribe. we hope you like it.
I love it.
More episodes to come.
Well, tell us
Yay.
a little bit about the episodes.
Okay, well, so we have 3 episodes ready. The first episode is just kind of what the whole podcast's about, what the idea is about. And then the next 2 are kind of introducing the hosts a bit. So I talk about how I became a Star Trek fan and how that happened, my journey as a Star Trek fan. And then the 3rd episode is all about Bruce, how he became a Star Trek fan and came to love this thing that we devote so much of our time and attention and energy to and love doing it. So, yeah, I think people have said they're pretty good. I enjoyed editing them.
They are very good.
Why are they very good? What did you like about them?
I just loved the naturalness of your conversations. And I also loved that you were able to express anything, any love, any emotion about any facet of Star Trek. And I loved hearing your stories because I got to know you both better through those stories of how you came to be Star Trek fans. So I just really enjoy the 2 of you talking. It was like sitting around and listening to friends talking. Well, I mean, you guys are my friends, but I mean, it was just really like eavesdropping on a fun conversation in a pub or something.
That's pretty much what it's like. Yes.
Really enjoy it.
Oh, thanks.
Cool. Thank you.
Glad you did. Yeah.
We have fun doing it. We're going to record another one here very soon.
Indeed we are.
Okay. So Dan, did you say everywhere we can find you?
That's pretty much the important parts.
Okay.
Treklit.com, which has been a little quiet lately, where I review Star Trek books. I promise I'll pick that up again, especially if I end up, not being able to teach because schools are closed. So maybe I'll have a lot more time on my hands. Great. We'll see. But yeah, Treklit.com, here on this YouTube channel. This has been a busy week for this YouTube channel because I'm also putting out Positively Trek as videos on this channel as well. So if you want to check it out, you can check it out that way. Right now, just the first episode's up, but the next few days I'll have episodes 2 and 3. And then episode 4, we're looking to release on Tuesdays. So episode 4 should be ready for Tuesday for you guys.
That's great because I don't have enough new podcasts that drop on Tuesdays. So that's going to fill that blank space so nicely.
Yeah,
Nice.
Since it dropped on Tuesday and we weren't expecting it, we thought, well, we'll just keep Tuesday.
Sure, Tuesday works.
Tuesday's a good day. It's a good day.
Oh, Wayne, I was thinking the exact same thing in the middle of the show tonight. I would like to see Dan on Live from the Edge as a regular host too.
Oh.
Because I thought we'd just
cool.
keep doing this, and when we get to Discovery, we just move it over.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, if this is,
if that show is still around and Trek FM still around, sure, why not? If Discovery airs this 3rd season, maybe not. Yeah, it's coming.
That'd be cool.
Brandi,
Meh.
where can people find you?
Places. Brandywine12 on Twitter, Lurking in the Babel Conference on Facebook. Haven't had a lot of time for that lately. Okay, now I forgot to get my paper that has everything on it. The Edge Main Show with Liam and Nick. We have an episode that just came out. That is a Klingon title I cannot pronounce because I suck at Klingon. But it's our part 3 of the Ships of Discovery, where we obviously talk about Klingon ships mostly. We have had a lot of fun with that series, but we're really glad we're not talking about ships anymore.
So can you give us just a quick preview of what they would get on a recent episode of The Edge, of you singing about Spaceboat? Dan, you got to listen. I think it's the latest episode that came out. If not, it's the one before.
No, it was last week.
Last week's. Okay.
Okay, I'm not gonna sing because my voice is a little bit hacky right now. However,
the chat room singing already.
Yeah, I can give you a little bit of a taste, even though it won't be, exactly.
Well, it won't have the music in the background like it does on the episode.
Oh no, it absolutely will.
Oh,
because I am going to.
that's what we're working on here. I'm buying you some time. I'm filling the air, the void.
Yeah.
Till we
Okay.
get there.
So I've got to find the exact part where it
Littlefit
starts.
said that was recorded in December. You've been holding out on this.
Wow.
No, it was not recorded in December. So hang on. I've got to get to the part where it. I can't.
So your co-host Liam says it got stuck in his head so much because he's listened to it so much.
Okay, actually, I hit it right on the button and then. Okay. Give me a moment.
Okay, we'll give you a moment. I'll tell people where they can find me until you get that going. Okay, so you can find me at typically at a Cold Stone Creamery or at Haagen-Dazs. Baskin Robbins, Brewster's, Culver's, what else? Ben and Jerry's, Kilwins, Dairy Queen, yes. Any of those places, and of course the Penn State Creamery. Just have to say that too. And I'm on Twitter at Admiral_Rex.
Okay. All right. I think I've got it close enough. So let me get this going here. Come on, play. Play for me, baby. Why aren't you playing?
The edge of Federation space.
This is how it.
Gosh. She's playing the episode.
Oh, yeah.
Exciting and new. Beam aboard. We've commissioned you and space. The final frontier. Black alert. There's a spore drive here. The space boat. Soon we'll be leaving from Starbase 1. The space boat. Make sure your phaser is set to start.
Okay, that's enough of that.
That's great.
Yeah,
there's a lot there. You go through the whole thing.
I did the whole theme. I did. Liam dared me to.
That's amazing.
Liam, never dare Brandi to do anything because she'll do it. Unless you want her to do it, then yeah, dare her.
Well, I was already doing it. The very first episode of the Ships trilogy, we were trying to think of another name to call ships. And I was saying vessels, boats, space boats. And then the minute I said space boats, I started rewriting that theme song in my head because I grew up watching Love Boat. I'm a child. I was born in 1973. So that show was in full swing when I was at the age to understand what I was watching.
Yes. Charo. Coochie, 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 coochie.
Oh, yeah. She had a lot of guest appearances. So many.
I love her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's great times. Great times.
That's what happened there on the edge of Federation space.
Yes.
Nice.
Who would have known that Trek FM would have grown into this type of comedy on shows?
It's totally my fault. But
I love it.
I should finish off by saying I'm also on the Dark Corner podcast with my husband, Dave. And I have my own podcast called Headcanon where I talk about whatever I want. All nerdy stuff. All my nerdy stuff.
That's fairly new too. So it's what, 3 episodes or
4? There's 4 now.
Okay.
4. I was sick and there were some things going on that there was kind of a gap between episodes 3 and 4. But I'm actually going to do another episode this weekend because I have another nerdy thing to talk about, which a lot of people don't know about me. So they're going to hear about that. And you can find those both at darkcornerpodcast.com. And I think that's it. Because you already mentioned Live from the Edge. So I think that's it.
Cool.
Very cool.
All right. That's it. Next week, episode 9. Hey, so I'm going to throw this out real quick. And Brandi, we haven't talked about this, but maybe this will change because of all this coronavirus stuff, but I'm traveling that Friday night after the last episode of Picard.
Mm-hmm.
And Dan's been invited to something. So we might be doing the last Picard live show on Thursday night. I don't know.
With profound apologies to our international viewers who will not have seen it yet. I feel really bad about that.
Well, we can discuss. Maybe we can even do it a later date. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Or Brandi can do it on herself on Friday.
It could be a headcanon live show.
No, it's weird. It's weird talking just by myself with a chat. And it would just be me just going the whole time and say, okay, guys in the chat, give me some stuff.
we could maybe do a Saturday thing too, or something like that if we want.
I can't.
Certainly.
Oh, that's right. That's why
I'm at a wedding. Okay, so one thing I didn't mention is I'm on the Star Wars Report podcast, and the reason I'm traveling is I'm attending the founder and main host of that show, Riley Blanton. I'm going to his wedding. So he's getting married on that Saturday. And so I'll be driving to Florida Friday night. So I can be at his wedding on Saturday and driving back Sunday. Well, it's really sad too, because his honeymoon was planned for Italy and Ireland, and that's been canceled. A lot. One of his groomsmen can't come now because of the coronavirus thing. And a lot of people who were going to attend the wedding are not coming. So everything's like trickling down, like, ooh. Oh, and then they were all like a bunch of friends that were all going to go to Disney World because it's an hour from Orlando, the wedding. Well, now Disney World is closed. So everything's like
Disneyland.
Yeah, and Disneyland's closed. Even Universal has closed their parks. I mean, everything's closing, right? So, yeah. And I told him, I said, well, you know what? Usually this is a sign that you will have a great, wonderful marriage for the rest of your life when these things happen. So,
yeah.
Anyway,
definitely.
But yeah, we'll figure out. Maybe we'll do the live show in that last week on Thursday, or I don't know. I don't know what we'll do.
We could maybe do. Okay, this is just me spitballing here.
I know what you're going to say.
We could do the live show on Thursday, and then we could also do another live show later as like a whole season wrap up.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
I think that would be a lot of fun.
I love that.
So there we go. There we go.
Cool. Okay.
All right. We'll let everybody go.
TBD.
Yes. So have a great Friday evening, or have a great Saturday. Liam, I'm saying that to you. And live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper. Make good choices. Wash your hands and don't touch your face, says the guy who touched his face like 50 times.
Please, my friends, choose to live.
Yes.
All right. I have to end the broadcast. Bye.
Bye. Have a good night, everyone.